Hello! This is the one episode rule in broadcasting you from the fabled and promised April. It has come to pass.
We made it to April, everybody.
But circumstances remain unchanged.
Yep.
Time is an illusion.
Yeah. Kirito is still here.
Why are we speaking this way when last episode released on April, right?
Shut up.
This is our first recorded from like that one could have easily been like our time capsule protocol, our like if you're hearing this, we're in the game. We're in Sword Art already.
You know, I heard YouTube changed that anyway.
Oh, good.
They're just like, yeah, whatever. Listen, this is a long-term thing. That's fine. Just talk about it.
All right.
So yeah, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Blackle. I recently started watching more anime, and by that I mean one different anime, which was Mob Psycho 100 with my roommate.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I hear that one's
good.
good. I'm in to watch that.
It's enjoyable.
I would love to watch Mob Psycho with this group. It is a very, very good show.
I'm so proud of you, though.
If you decide you like that, I would recommend the original authors of One Punch Man as well.
I've heard of One Punch Man.
I think if you like One Punch Man, you might like Mob Psycho. I don't necessarily think if you like Mob Psycho, you might like One Punch Man.
Oh, they're similar feels. Like Mob Psycho is probably quite a bit more polished as a secondary work, like as a sophomore effort.
Yeah, and Mob Psycho's less of a comedy. Mob Psycho has comic elements, but it's more of a straightforward sort of story where One Punch Man is mainly a gag show.
Yeah, I can unequivocally recommend One Punch Man Season 1. I don't know about Season 2, but I actually have not seen it. I hear it's made by different people.
I didn't even know they made a Season 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm proud of you, Blackle, and hello, I'm Joey, and I woke up with anime here today.
I saw that.
Yes. It was extreme.
It was a very swoopy look.
We just need to get you a sword.
That's what I'm saying. Give me a sword 2020.
I used
Get
to
Joey a sword.
I used to whenever my hair was longer, I used to wake up routinely with just full Ojo-sama curls, which was pretty bad.
I remember you telling us about that.
I don't think I've ever shared this with the group because I don't believe in being perceived when I first wake up. But I tend to sleep with my hair up in a ponytail, and then by the morning I have wallowed it into a dead mom's side plate.
Just the full tuberculosis braid?
Yeah, just full on. The real... Oh, no. I was going to say Aaron Yeager's mom's name, but I forgot because it's a bad show.
Emma, you need to get yourself an N95 mask ASAP.
Oh, no!
Uh-oh. Don't say that.
I feel like you shouldn't sleep with your hair up. I feel like that would damage it, but I don't know enough about it.
It is damaging, but also damaging is having a nightmare and accidentally inhaling your ponytail once.
Oh my god.
So, yeah. I do have masks on the way. I'm gonna try to stay safe. I'm glad that YouTube has removed the ban so we can finally talk about the deadly, deadly disease by its true name, Black Butler.
That's dumb. You're dumb.
Punch me in the fucking gut.
That was a good one. It was a good one.
Thanks. I'm Emma, by the way. Hello. The only thing that I really have to talk about is, due to circumstances beyond our control, the only thing that I've done lately is No Life Persona 5 The Royal with my boyfriend. We we've been playing it together and splitting the responsibilities. He does the battles, and he does the navigation, and he does the puzzles and the dungeons, and he does the confidants. And I don't
you
do
press the
anything.
buttons?
I'd say
You just
I don't
watch?
do anything. I just say sometimes I say funny things in the voices of the characters, and that's my responsibility during the game.
All right. Well, you can take on an additional responsibility by telling me the really important factor is who y'all creeping on.
Who are we creeping on?
What
in
the fuck are
game?
you talking about?
Which one of the many options have you chosen to creep upon?
Listen. Dr. Takumi is so cute. She's so scary, and she knocks you out all the time with her bad medicine. But Gil has dated her previously, and also we're both holding out hope that because Persona 5 The Royal is basically like it's not a full like changed story. It's like an extended expansion, just a strictly better game than Persona 5, and one of the newest routes is that you can actually talk to Goro Akechi.
Wow. I see.
There's a whole extra confidant, and we just went to the bathhouse with him, and it was really special.
Oh. That sounds
so that's what
spicy.
we're trying.
Bathhouses. Miserable
You know.
places.
horrible
An
places.
unbelievable concept to a Westerner.
Yes.
I
Imagining. Well, I just don't want to imagine going down to like the local bathhouse and running into my coworkers or
No,
the old man downstairs that coughs like Roger Rabbit.
Can you imagine the shit the Romans had to put up with? Do you want to do that again? I thought we'd moved past that as a society.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I will say one thing. If anyone sees me naked, they're dead.
They have died.
Like Medusa.
All right.
Like Medusa.
I'd like to share one other thing about Persona 5 The Royal, which is we've reached my favorite part of the game, where one of many tasks that you can perform to increase your stats in the game is play video games in the game. I didn't know about this until today, but we played a video game that I guess was like Space Invaders or Star Fox or one of those sort of games. And instead of it being an actual mini game, there's a big bar that shows up on the screen, and at the top it says in 8-bit text, video game. And on the bottom it says press X, and you have to press X 25 times, and there's a counter that says 0 out of 25. And if you press the X button 25 times, you win.
Incredible.
Press X to game.
What an absolutely amazing meta commentary. What it's so irreverent. It's amazing.
Incredible.
Learned a lot.
All right.
That's
Very
all.
powerful.
It's time.
I do have one more thing to say, which is that I had this planned at the beginning as a bit, but then I forgot, which is that I burned the top of my mouth on a oven pizza that I cooked yesterday, and I had it all planned out that I was gonna say out very funny, like all the words on the front of the pizza box, as if it's like the only way I can explain that that's the kind of pizza that I was eating. But I can't even do that right. So first I failed at pizza, and then I failed this bit. I'm feeling pretty low, you guys.
Fuck, that would have been funny.
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna make it through. You're gonna make it, buddy.
It's time. It is time for the news.
Give us the news.
Give us the news.
All right. First, just good news. Tiger and Bunny 2 anime sequel announced as TV series slated for 2022.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Yes.
they're just gonna make that.
I need to finish the first one.
I didn't either. I in fact did not watch any more of the first one, but you know what?
Yeah.
I liked the first episode.
Yeah.
So it can go.
Yeah.
This can happen. I approve of this.
I'm very hopeful.
I'll allow it.
Mm-hmm.
And the second piece of news is my favorite piece of news. It made me happy that I bothered to check today. I've been real tired today. I almost didn't. All right. So here was from the article where I found it. Flee nerve and save the world in alien escape room.
What?
Hello?
Could you survive a day as a nerve employee? A new escape room coming out in June will give you the chance to find out. Participants
No.
participants play as new nerve recruits on their first day.
I'd
It's
my
rather
first
not.
day!
I'd rather not.
And they
I die
presumably-
immediately.
And they presumably will have to escape the room before the JSD shows up to shoot them.
Well,
Fuck, man.
even if they escape the room, it won't be long, I imagine.
Escape the Earth game.
God. Please escape my Earth. I can only imagine that the end of this the end of this escape room is just like the ceiling falls in and a fucking animatronic Ava unit hand comes and kills you
Yeah.
if you don't get out.
Like I said, if you don't get out, a bunch of dudes from the Japanese self-defense force kick in the door and shoot all of you.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Fun
man.
family experience.
Apparently, the way this is supposed to play out is that you have a monitor that connects you with the outside world, and you have an hour to gather data and figure out the mystery of the attacking angel and defeat it.
Fuck.
I can't imagine a worse fucking idea for an escape.
God.
Like
Oh.
it was I'll tell you this. Before I saw it, the thought would have never even entered my mind. It's like if you opened a Berserk restaurant. It's nonsense.
No, I think they should do that though. They should open
That's
a
what-
Berserk restaurant.
You know, wait. There used to be jokes. There used to be jokes about Guts frying chicken on the Dragon Slayer because it's just a big fucking slap behind.
Yeah,
God.
do it.
You could run a whole
Get
fucking izakaya off that thing. It's
It's like
Make it
a
happen.
fucking like hibachi grill, but the grill is just Guts' sword.
Yeah. Oh
Ah.
my god.
freshly
If you
butchered.
go
in
to the
wrap.
bathroom, Griffith is there.
He's just like, hello there.
He sings show tunes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's all the news I have.
Okay.
I had those two things.
Okay. I've
have-
I've gotten my persona bit out of the way, Joey.
Yeah, I have a lot of Lupin to talk about.
Oh yeah, before that, I watched approximately 30 seconds of Beastars before we started because I was going to sit down and watch it, and then Netflix's resolution was fucked up, and then I got involved in a huge argument, so I didn't get to do it.
God.
we shouldn't
so
talk
sorry.
about that.
Schmalzow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
So,
watched a bunch of. I don't know if we covered this last time, but we did watch a bunch more of Higurashi, and that show is wild.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I was like, y'all, we gotta watch more of this together because
Yeah, we got to
we
finish
just
that sometime.
can't believe it. We should, but
But,
yeah.
Our review of it does not actually do it justice. It's super
No.
weird.
No, you
All
can't
right.
just okay. We can't talk about that.
Yeah, talk about.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Tell me about Lupin and Daisuke Jigen and Goemon.
Yeah, no, it's a fun show. I like that like there's not really an overarching like plot line. It's just kind of like the episodic thing, which I've been enjoying because sometimes the episodes are bad. And you can just be like, okay, this one doesn't count.
Just be
But,
like, I'll just strike that one from the record.
Yeah, pretty
Just
much.
pretend it didn't happen.
No, but I did like you don't when you're first watching this series, you don't get a grip on how wild it's going to be until like things start happening. Like so yeah, I wrote down some like things that happened that I just like I
Yeah,
can't believe this.
give us a tasting menu.
Yes, please.
So
We should clarify.
Let's see.
This is like original series Lupin, right?
this is the first and second series is
Okay.
so
yes.
yeah.
So, Lupasophapon? No, that's nothing.
Get you in the, get you in the loop. I don't know.
Oh,
That's good.
steal us a piece.
Yeah.
Steal. Okay.
Okay. So here's some things that have happened in Lupin the Third. Lupin breaks a bunch of toilets to flood a building.
Fuck. That happened in my work.
That was literally the first episode. So maybe I was wrong about like you don't get a sense of how weird it is. Cause that was the first episode. Lupin escapes prison by letting his fingernails grow so long that he can use them as a weapon to threaten the guard
God.
with.
My.
God.
Yeah, and he also shaved his face with them.
Oh.
Like, it was really horrible to watch. One time he got.
At first, I
Oh,
thought
no,
you
go ahead.
said let his fingers grow long.
Oh,
just
fingernails.
like some long joints tumbling
Oh,
out
God.
Just some real
of his
salad finger
sleeves.
shit, huh?
Ew.
Yeah.
Put that
It's
away.
bad.
Not
One
allowed.
time he got kidnapped by Mecha Nessie.
What?
Now.
Wait, say, go back. What?
Now.
They were trying to find the Loch Ness monster, and they got kidnapped by a mechanical Nessie.
Okay.
Because the other
You
bad
said
guys were trying
Nessie.
to also.
I see now that you said Mecha Nessie, but I thought you said Mecha Nessie, and that you like he'd been snapped. He'd been kidnapped by a giant robot pussy,
Yeah, I mean,
and I was scared.
It wouldn't be
Please go on.
beyond this show.
Lupin the Third got unbirthed. Go on.
A child nearly bakes him to death in a sauna one time. He nearly gets murdered by a swarm of hummingbirds. There's yeah, it doesn't make any sense because there's like they try and find this like special jewel and it's like they're attracted to the scent of it and it's like okay, that doesn't make sense, but okay.
They are birds. This is nonsense.
They are birds.
Oh, this isn't really a like a whole episode or a plot, but it's there was one point when Goemon gets hangry and there's like a falling star in the sky and he gets so hangry that he cuts it in half. It's like a 2-second gag. It's very good.
It's getting
They
real
have a-
metaphysical here.
They have a whole vampire episode, which was just like one of my favorites. Is extremely good. There's also another episode where he fakes his own death, and it's oh my god. There's the funniest scene. It's like something I can hardly even think about without like laughing. But he fakes his death, and his buddies think that he's actually really dead, and so. They get really angry and Goemon just goes and he cuts down like 4 palm trees in a row and shoots like 4 lampposts in a row because they're just so angry.
They're just mad, so they're just gonna destroy the world.
Why?
Yeah. Don't know. It's funny.
Just because Arsene's a dick.
Yes. Okay, the last scene that I will tell you about is he dons a tiger suit and pretends to be someone's pet tiger to sneak into their base.
Oh yeah. Oh, their base, huh?
Yeah, no, not their own base. Some bad guy. I don't here's the thing.
Gotta sneak into
Sometimes you
that
don't-
tiger sanctuary in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's him. It's Joe Exotic. Shit. can't do
It's
this.
arson exotic. I hate this show.
Okay, I'm done. Let's watch something.
Stupid podcast.
Okay, are you ready to get ruined by this?
Ruin me, ruin me, ruin me.
Yeah, I guess.
This wasn't on any of the manifests, so it's going to be a complete curveball for y'all.
Mhm.
But a friend of ours, a longtime friend of ours, suggested that we watch the Starship Troopers OVA,
What?
which an anime based upon the work of Robert Heinlein that predates the movies.
Whoa. What? Okay.
Yeah, it's from 1988.
All right. Well,
It's gonna get weird, y'all.
here we
I
go.
guess we had it coming.
I am looking at the first screen right now. There is a warning about how fucking weird it is.
Good.
So get ready to get blasted.
I'm ready. Blast me.
All right, we're back and ready to discuss this science fiction we've consumed. Who has thoughts? I don't have a blurb for this because, of course, I don't. Because I'll clue the viewer in. This show hasn't been available for like 30 years to get legitimately. The episode we watched opened with a warning from the fan subgroup that it had been transcoded like dozens of times since they got it on laserdisc, so that the quality had decayed.
I was wondering what that said because it appeared for like 1.5 seconds and it was like 3 feet long. So I was like, yeah, I hope that wasn't important.
Yeah, it's the fan subgroup that's just be like, listen, this is old as shit. It's from a laserdisc, and even then, we still decided to sub it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have something to say. Just like the first thing that I need to get it out of my system really, really, really badly. Can I?
Yeah, go.
It's a free country.
Johnny, yes, Papa.
Okay.
Joining Navy. Yes, Papa.
All right, that's enough.
Okay.
That's not even his real name. We'll get into that in a moment.
Oh my lord.
So okay. So how many of us have seen the thing that the most viewers will be familiar with, the movie from the late 90s?
I
have.
have like the dimmest possible memories of this film. I know that I watched it probably far younger than I should have. I watched it a lot younger than I should have, and I don't remember anything, and it's kind of blurred together in my brain with the Will Robinson one. What's that one?
Lost in Space.
Lost in Spaceship Troopers.
I can explain this movie. I can explain the movie version of this of this story with 4 words.
Do it.
Sky high, but fascist.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we didn't really get into it with the first episode here, and if you don't remember a lot of the film, that might have been lost on you.
I guess that means I am the only one who hasn't seen this film, and I'm gonna cry now.
It's okay.
It's not like
okay.
a cultural landmark or anything.
No, it's not. In fact, like I don't think it's even that popular.
I don't remember anything about it because it came out when I was 1, so...
So here's the deal. Starship Troopers the movie doesn't play this narrative straight. It is extremely tongue-in-cheek about its source material.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was a comedy.
Yeah, it's kind of a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they turn it up to like 11 at all times, and like it's full of like horrible advertisements for the space military, and Neil Patrick Harris is
I thought Neil Patrick Harris was there. Yeah.
And he's like an evil scientist, and he's just like, I'm going to stick this big weird thing into a bug that looks like a butthole. But the source material is very much not that. And it was really interesting because like there's a lot of interesting things about like Robert Heinlein's fiction that I read off of Wikipedia so I can talk about them like I know something.
Sure.
That's kind of borne out by neither of these adaptations. The anime that we watched, which by the way we'll get to.
Well, it'll have its time in the sun, in the incinerator.
But like, okay, a lot of Starship Troopers comes off as like super militaristic and fascist. All right, but also Robert very specifically goes out of his way to espouse the virtues of like multiculturalism and shit. Like was a very devout, like devoutly anti-racist in all things. Like a bunch of the characters in this book from the 50s are black and they're in leadership positions and shit. But at the same time, there's like this weird military fetishism. I want to lead into the anime thing because I'll note that Johnny Rico from the movie and Johnny Rico from the anime are both blonde, tall, sort of Anglo-Saxon Western people. Johnny Rico, or Juan Rico, from the book, lives in Buenos Aires and his family is Filipino. So they kind of missed the mark on the main character.
Kind of missed it, huh? I did, in fact, find a blurb, if you'd like me to read it.
Oh, yeah, hit it.
Why not?
Okay. Johnny Rico is a high school student living in Buenos Aires who doesn't know what to do with his future life. When his friend, Carl, his love Carmen, whom he grew up with, joined the federal military, he does too enlist in the hope to chase after his love into space.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this blurb? A fucking bridge troll with their riddles 3?
However, a war is brewing on the outer planets with a strange bug-like alien enemy, and Johnny is thrust into conflict. And
There's not more. Think about the fact
it.
This was issued on a laser disc. They had a laser disc. They had like fucking 1.5 foot square space to write the blurb on the back of this thing.
God.
Yeah.
And they wrote that. Presumably.
Can I say the only good thing about this movie is the fucking like opening sequence of one of the like producer companies or whatever it's called, where it's like a bunch of, it's like fucking like this sick ass beat and it's like a fucking Outrun and like I don't even remember. Was it like some Easter Island heads or something?
Yeah, we were talking about how presumptuous it is to take somebody's like cultural icon and turn it into the logo for your fucking production company.
Holy shit, that's so true.
But also that was Magpie.
Oh yeah.
That's just what he looks like. I like my
huge emotionless stone face.
My favorite part of it was the fact that there were two Moai or Easter Island heads. One of them was, kind of facing sort of stoically off into the distance, and then the other one's turned directly towards the viewer. And underneath, in the largest letters I've ever seen, it just says emotion.
It's a David Cage production. Emotion.
God.
All right. So
can we also talk about the opening theme for the fucking anime? It was like some fucking stadium country plus city pop.
Oh, and it's not even that. We need to get into this. This is some straight up. This is a butt rock ballad.
Yes.
It is
absolutely.
It is a Japanese group singing in English to sound like an American 80s rock ballad.
Like, by the time that intro was over, just because of how fucking wild the music was, I forgot it was Starship Troopers. Like, I forgot entirely. And then it goes into a football game, and I was like, oh, this is like just a weird like high school thing, I guess. Okay. And then and then it's like the military in the future space. And then I was like, oh. That's all.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how,
No,
first of all, it's kind of unreal to see football in an anime?
I need to continue talking about this fucking theme.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
God,
okay,
I
go right ahead, buddy.
I didn't get my
Please.
thing in. It's just like this.
Do it.
It is straight up a Hulk Hogan fucking track. It's
Oh my
I am
God.
a real American. Yeah, it's that shit.
For the rights of every man. Oh my God, it really is
Oh
oh
my god.
That's-
man.
powerful. I
Also, yeah, anime football is hilarious. I love it.
I'm
I
not
love the
gonna
little
lie to you.
hearts that were on their helmets.
I know, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. About a third of my notes are just transcribing the lyrics from the theme song.
Please tell us the lyrics.
You're doing an
Forget
important
about
job
the
here.
pain, feel happy again. My favorite two lines were believe, and there's so much you can do. Believe in your heart and know it's true.
Sounds like a Pokemon opening.
It really does.
Come to think of it, it's
Um,
kind of funny that they were playing American football in the middle of Buenos Aires.
Well, they do that in the movie too. I thought they
They-
play like some
yes,
kind of football game.
They also do play American football.
It's the future where American football has taken over every other sport.
I get the impression
Yeah.
it's because Robert Heinlein does not understand what soccer is.
Yes.
And is also
Oh,
Can we all-
oh man, I didn't even think
Or
about
here-
that. Oh my God.
The fact that it's like, oh, they play football in other countries. Oh, cool! I'm gonna write that into my book.
It's just
Sir,
like
they play
a line of
football in
scrimmage
Argentina.
listen, it was the 50s. Nobody knew anything.
I'm gonna be
So
sick.
dumb.
We talk about how they were playing high school football in the
Yeah,
most biggest stadium I've seen in my life.
Yeah, like a full like arena football stadium. Yeah, it was pretty
They were-
weird.
They were playing in a
It's the
stadium.
championships.
It's
They were
the
playing in a
XFL.
stadium that looked like you microwaved a styrofoam plate.
Yeah, it was pretty modernist, wasn't it? Oh, man. Okay, so like real shit about this show. Okay, most of the show is dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It had the
Yes.
worst.
this show is so boring. I couldn't even deal with it. Can I tell you what I did? Can I tell you
No.
the thing that I did? I was watching this movie like a good little student of the craft, one time speed, got halfway through it. I'm like, this movie, I can't, I'm going to have an aneurysm. And so I set the speed to 1.5 and I was like, okay, this is good. Things are going. And it's sort of, it's almost like a fucking radioactive decay line. It was like getting slower and slower by the minute. And I felt like I was Zeno in Zeno's Paradox. I had to dump it up to 1.75 and I was still like, oh my God, this is so slow.
All right, first of all, we've talked about this. You're on the job here. You watch it like a regular person.
I think for this episode, Blackle's in the right.
But it's not even that it was slow. Like I can appreciate how they adapted Heinlein's writing. This would have been like the first chapter. It all fits
Sure.
into all these important events fit into this episode. It feels slow because everything around it is dog shit. So it has the worst frame rate I've ever seen in an anime. Now, granted, I have not actually seen Twinkle Nora Rockway. I've only seen that clip from YouTube where they interpolate it and it looks terrifying.
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
But this had the worst frame rate. It had the most off-model characters I've ever seen in an anime. It was incredible. There are points where they looked like the forest spirits from Princess Mononoke.
Oh my God.
It was so horrible. The love interest looks like Karen from Street Fighter, and I can't get over it.
all the characters were kind of just bad to look at. I didn't like Carl. I didn't like any of them really.
Carl looked like he was just some dude who walked into the
Carl is
walked
just,
onto
Carl
set.
is my least favorite.
to quote Twitter, most men are just some dude.
That's true though.
And this is true of
True.
Carl.
Just some dude.
Otherwise, it pretty much follows like the first 20 minutes of the Starship Troopers movie. It's like that. There's bad animation. The good thing I could extrapolate from this, and it's entirely unintentional, is due to the video degradation and the location of Buenos Aires. There's some very vaporwave backgrounds going on.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah.
And if you took all of the horrible people out of them and all of the horrible moving objects out of them, I could enjoy them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they could be pretty.
I could play like a dumb remix of like Death Grips and Resonance
Yeah.
over them and just
God.
It was very aesthetic, as long as the homunculi weren't on screen.
they were very very unpleasant to look at, and wow, I remember whenever he was freaking out about, hey, there's a war on, I'm gonna jump for joy.
Hit my head on the ceiling.
He looked like a little weird noodle man bouncing around.
When he hit his head on the
Yeah.
ceiling, it looked like there was no gravity.
It did.
Like at all. It looked like he had bounced against the side of his capsule.
It's like already in space.
I spent a whole scene trying to figure out why he had a stripper pole in his bedroom before it turned out it was just the fucking staircase. But then he really does do a stripper spin on it.
Yeah, it's because he's a child and he sleeps in a race car bed. That's why he has that pole.
I didn't notice it was a race car bed. Is it a race car bed?
No, for fuck's sake, Blackle. It's not a real race car bed. It's a joke about The Simpsons. You caused me.
I don't watch any media, guys. I don't watch anything.
You caused me such agony.
God forbid.
We don't get a lot of media in Canada.
God forbid somebody make a joke on our anime comedy podcast.
But man, if any of these are good jokes, then
It was okay.
oh man,
It wasn't my best, but it was okay.
God, sorry to kick you in the fucking teeth there, Megs.
Bringing our best to this episode. Can we? Let's see. I'm looking. Oh, this is the only funny note that I wrote down the whole time. I'm sorry. I hated this show. The big robots at the end were fucking ugly, and they looked like if they looked like if you took a bike pump to a Gundam, and I wrote down fucking undums.
Gotta get them all plump and juicy.
Fucking right. And
No.
that's interesting because this is a Bandai Sunrise production.
Oh yeah, it is. I
It's
noticed that.
It's a Gundam-like.
It's,
I assume they picked up the property because they were just like, hey, we can sell some toys. And no, they can't.
no, they can't because the undums looked bad. Do you think these guys were in Super Robot Wars?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I would
Sure.
put the fucking EMS from Police Knots in the Super Robot Wars with goddamn Danny Glover and the pervert Riggs from that game piloting them. By the way, if you don't know about Police Knots, you should watch an LP or something. That game's fucking hilarious.
Can we talk about how weird it is that they're like fucking high school students? They play football in a giant ass stadium. They're like, what the fuck? That was like a prom or something in like a giant Gotham looking ass building. This is so entirely unlike the movie. It's mind boggling. I felt like I was.
And then
Well,
and then they get like smashed.
parts of this
and go driving.
Yeah, parts of this are a weird case of America through Japanovision. Like the movie was
Yeah.
much more authentic to like how Westerners would spend that time, but they're just like, yeah, there's like they go to like a big like mansion afterwards, right?
Right.
That's what
Buenos Aires, by the way.
that's what Westerners would do.
You said America, and I don't think they're in America.
No, I was talking about how Starship Troopers the movie treats it. It's very
Oh,
it's very American, even though it should technically be in Buenos Aires at that point.
well,
I think the
yeah,
idea is that like American imperialism has taken over the world in that movie.
Yeah, that sounds
I could believe that.
like that sounds perfectly plausible.
Yeah.
Can I tell you the one funny note that I wrote down in
Okay.
this whole thing?
Please do.
Was when they were playing the space football, and he gets in the end, and he like fumbles the ball and falls over, and the referee shoots this little gun.
Yeah,
My note, the note.
yeah. I don't know why you needed. I don't know why you needed a starting pistol to throw.
That went over my head.
The note that I wrote was he was executed.
You get sacked. You get sacked real bad, and your knee gets beaten backwards, and the ref just comes and mercy kills you.
He destroys you like a horse. Stupid podcast.
That fucking fact that he had a starter pistol washed over me. I didn't notice at the time, but I perfectly remember it happening.
It was the only humane thing to do.
Ref, Johnny missed the goal. Go put him down.
His ankle's backwards. There's no way he's gonna recover from this one.
He won't be playing again after this.
Good episode, y'all. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
Good listening.
Can I wait? I have one last note.
Okay. Okay, bring it.
Oh, I can't breathe. My one last note is 3 words.
Okay.
Wiggle eye syndrome.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. When
Do you know
his
at the
mom
very
slaps
end?
him,
Oh yeah, whenever like
and his eyes wiggle.
they couldn't figure out how to keep visual interest, so they just kept moving his eyes like
I
a millimeter to the left and right.
I just interpreted that as his mom slapping the shit out of him.
And he was just all jiggling like a bunch
She
of
slapped
yellow.
him so,
They slapped him so hard she gave him seizures.
she slapped him so hard his fucking eyeballs jiggled.
I thought, okay, real talk. I interpret it as like when your eyes are like about to water and they're about to cry. I thought that's
Yeah.
what they were trying to go for, but it didn't.
I got
look
that sense
like
too.
That really.
But it was the end of the day, and the animator was just like, I don't know, fuck it, just
slip it a pickle.
just clip the eyes out of this frame and then move them back and forth.
Yeah, just
Whatever,
scoot
just-
them back and forth.
Just rotoscope the Powerball.
All right,
Oh,
I'm gonna.
Are we any of us gonna watch any more of this?
Oh, no.
Fucking,
I already watched all of them at 3 times speed in the background.
are you fucking kidding me?
I'm kidding.
No,
Of course, we're not gonna fucking watch anymore.
no. I had to confirm that. Just for you know.
I
How
mean,
many are there? Let me
You know
check.
what? You know what?
There's
there's
like 6 of them.
yeah, there's like 6. It's just a standard OVA. But you know what, Joey? You know, I'll take you up on it. I will watch the rest of it if you have any like drugs to give me.
Yeah, no, I possibly put that on you, and I wouldn't want you to do that. Don't do this to yourself, friend. It's not worth it.
Just take a whole fistful of mushrooms and watch the rest.
God, that's praxis, babe.
We don't have any emails, but if we did
We
have an
don't.
email, you would send them to
One episode cast.
at gmail.
At Hotmail.
Shut up. Shut up, Blackle. We have fun here, but I'm starting to get heated.
We're just trying to get out of this episode. Please, everybody be cool and let's walk single file.
I'm the
If you
one
wanna-
eating the breadcrumbs.
You can tweet at us. We are at One Episode Cast on Twitter. And again, that is one, the
It's
word,
one, the
not
word.
the number.
If you were hoping for an analysis of the fiction of Robert Heinlein, you can go and complain at us there. I don't even know what the name